where you're just minding your own business and then you get locked up in a max security prison for absolutely no reason. Well, if you're like me, this may unfortunately be a common occurrence, but don't worry, cause in this video we'll go over not only the best ways to escape using both popular and less known methods, but also how to deal with certain situations when escaping as both civilian classes. We'll also talk about the best items to use when escaping and when to use them, plus some extra tips like knowing how to navigate the layouts of the facility's backrooms and even how to manipulate the game into spawning your teammates. So without any further wait, let's get right into it. First of all, let's look at it from a perspective of a D class. You spawn with absolutely nothing and are surrounded in both competition and allies. Your first goal should be to find, well, anything. But that's everyone's goal, so make sure to go in the way in which you'll avoid the main horde of people which consume every tiny bit of loot they set their eyes on. When roaming around hallways, make sure to memorize and recognize the initials of rooms that have a chance to contain loot in them, for example, PT, VT, PC, TC, and others. Any other set of initials are just corridors in which you can't find any loot. In these loot rooms, if you're lucky and arrive first, you can find a scientist or a zone manager card, some heals, and in rare cases a gun. Now you have multiple options. You can either go immediately to heavy, or quickly upgrade your loot once, so then you can go to heavy, or just stay in light containment for a longer time in order to loot and upgrade. Which option you choose should depend on your given circumstances. For example, if you hear the SCP slaughtering everybody nearby, you probably shouldn't stick around but rather leave right away. But you can also do a riskier move, which is hiding nearby, so you can collect the loot from the countless bodies. At the start of the round, this may give you access to loot which you couldn't naturally find, like the guards' guns and cards or some upgraded loot. Though this purely depends on luck, so I wouldn't advise doing this unless you have no other way to get loot. It's much better to leave right away, as you have the advantage of no too little SCP/guards patrolling heavy, plus the loot you're sticking around for might be complete dog shit, so yeah. Once in heavy, in case you don't have a high tier access card, you should look for one in either 096 or 106 chamber. These rooms can be opened by a scientist card and always spawn a surgeon card in them, which is enough to allow you to escape or get pretty good loot. Don't have a scientist card? Well, don't worry, cause you can find one in SCP-99's chamber or at the server room. If you are somehow unlucky enough to not find one in either, you can also find the card in the entrance zone lockers. Now that you have a high access tier card, you can either get some handy loot or go straight for the exit. But let's not assume everything will go so smoothly. What if you encounter an SCP or even worse, a guard? Well, if you see an SCP, assuming you have watched these two videos, you will surely have no issues in evading them. But a much easier and simpler solution is to hear them moving from a mile away and then just quickly hiding so they pass by like a clueless NPC. By completely avoiding contact with the SCPs, you save so much on time, but I do understand that it's pretty funny to close 100 doors in the faces of grandpa-paced entities, so yeah, I won't judge you if you do that. However, what if you face the guard? Well, depends what server you're playing on. If it's a chaotic official server, the chances are you're gonna get gunned down on sight, and even if you don't and they detain you, their friends will gun you down inside. I wouldn't advise trying to befriend these creatures unless you play on smaller, more moderator servers like me, where people tend to communicate with each other instead of, you know. If you have any kind of a firearm, you can beat them if you play smart. Upon encountering them, quickly run away and close a door on them. Then take out your gun and aim exactly where their head will be. Most guards won't expect you to have a gun and will get dropped instantly. How effective this trick is depends on the experience of the player, since more advanced players do silly movements when opening a door to avoid getting wrecked like this. But trust me, this trick should work a solid 85% of the time, so don't worry. Though if you only have a pistol with a limited fire rate, don't try this when multiple people are chasing you, as you simply can't fire fast enough to kill them all before the survivors of the initial ambush gun you down. Or you can also try to act friendly and catch them off guard by having a quick draw weapon on you. When doing this, upon approaching them, make sure to hold an item in your hand which prevents you from being detained, like a keycard. This is essential, since if you did get detained, it will be pretty awkward. If you don't have a gun, just run away and hide like you would with the SCPs. With these common threats avoided, let's proceed into the entrance zone. Now, depending how fast you are with getting here, you'll either have a peaceful escape or the complete opposite. The first spawn wave usually happens in between 4.5 to 5 minutes, which means you can certainly make it out before the spawn wave if you are fast enough. Also, by escaping, you grant quite some tickets for your team, which essentially guarantee you will receive backup really soon. In case you aren't fast enough, well, then you've got multiple options. The one which will give most success to the average player is hiding in one of these abandoned rooms, and then when all the MTF run past and start having a World War II with the SCPs, you simply walk to gate B and escape completely unnoticed. There's a chance you may encounter an MTF or two in your road, but almost nobody will be expecting you since their teammates pass through there safely. So if you have a gun, taking them out shouldn't be an issue. If you're unfortunately incapable of taking out humans, then just hide again, but somewhere more close, and wait for them to leave. Then the other option is trying to befriend them, which I have already told you how it will go. It's literally a 99.1 pure % chance that one of these 20 crazed maniacs will gun you down. The only times where you have the possibility of achieving peace is if the player count is low. So the few MTF that spawn will actually detain you, so their chances of winning increase significantly. Or if you after hiding approach and lone MTF. Not every MTF is a monster, but most of them are, so pray to God that the person you approach is a reasonable individual and that they consider your offer of a thank you and an additional teammate in exchange for them only holding in on you for a few seconds. And the third and final option on how to deal with a freshly spawned spawn wave blocking your escape is well killing them all. If you're like me, this is probably your preferred option, and once you get experience enough this will become pretty easy actually. Though even as a beginner/intermediate you can easily often take out huge groups of enemies by sniping them without them realizing it, or by holding a really strong corner with a machine gun. You can also just elevate or grenade camp them, but that's pretty cringe in my opinion. Anyways, congrats, you have escaped. Now you can aid your fellow colleagues in escaping and wreak chaos on the facility. But hold on, let's go back a bit. Let's say you spawn as a D-class and nothing goes as planned. You got left out with 0 loot and worst of all, 0 bitches. Because when you start talking to women and they see that you're unsubscribed to Gaming Toast, yeah, that's a major red flag, my friend. So to avoid that, make sure to absolutely smash and violate that subscribe button or something bad will happen. Anyways, what do you do in this position? Well, your best friend are gonna be your legs and mouth. Don't take this out of context. Since you don't have a car to leave, you can hide at the checkpoint and wait for somebody to open it. And then discreetly sneak past. Now this is the oldest fucking trick in the books, and don't do this right at the start of the game, since usually both the guards and the SCPs check that spot instantly. But later on in the game, absolutely nobody expects it, so it's one neat way you can get past. Now you just gotta pray you find an corpse with at least some loot on it, and then proceed the way we just discussed this whole time, or try to raise up the people you encounter. You will be surprised out of how many troubles you can talk your way out of, or just convince somebody to help you by endlessly yapping. It can get you past the checkpoint, or you can start a political party, or you can also get shot in the head cause unquote, your voice is very annoying. Anyways, it's time we talk about the scientists. Now most of the strategies I said with the D-class still apply. The difference is you can skip a lot of mentioned steps leading to a much faster escape. You don't have to run around the facility checking every room for any kind of loot. You can either go to 914 right away, which is worth doing as a scientist, since by skipping the looking for loot phase, you can safely upgrade your items in peace and leave before the place becomes a slaughter chamber. But if you want an even faster escape, you can get a checkpoint opening card by either upgrading your card once, or by finding it in one of the rooms you spawn in. Though I generally won't recommend this, since you are literally so fast the SCPs won't be in like containment yet, meaning there's a very high chance you'll meet them at one of the elevators just as they are going down, or you'll just randomly encounter them in heavy. So if you can, getting better loot with your advantage should be a priority unless you know one of the D-class has a gun, or if unlucky SCP somehow made its way into light containment already. In that case, carefully proceeding into heavy is the best move. Even though the D-class are unpredictable and menacing, it is worth to keep them by your side since they are literally living meat shields. Make sure to restrict their access to items by stealing all the loot you can find, since with loot they no longer are dependent on you to escape and gain free will, aka no more funny meat shields. And we of course don't want that. Now the main difference between escaping as a scientist and a D-class is that the Foundation forces are friendly to you, which means you and your friends won't get brutally gunned down the moment you encounter these guys. In fact, these guys are usually very friendly towards you and will show you the way out if you ask. They may even give you a head for one of the scientist cards you have, so yeah, it can't really get any easier than that. The only threats to your existence are the SCPs and the Class D, but by leaving early you avoid both of these. Sure, the chaos can spawn, but the odds of them being the first spawn wave are ultra small unless some Class D consumed 50 SCP items and guaranteed their spawn. Though this only happens once in a 100 years. Even if they do spawn, don't worry, since you should hear them from across the facility because of their footsteps, or they will be kind enough to give away their element of surprise advantage by literally broadcasting the words "Chaos is here" to the whole facility. So yeah, thank you for the warning, fucking dumbass. Since the first spawn wave comes in between 4.5 to 5 minutes, you can know if the chaos spawned if you haven't heard an MTF spawn announcement after around 5 minutes from the start of the game. When they do spawn first, you can work alongside the guards to take them out if there aren't too many of them, or just sneak by like you would as a D-class. I really wouldn't advise trying to surrender to them, since like 70% of the average players have no clue that as a chaos you can detain as a scientist and actually benefit quite a lot from it. Almost all of the chaos's weapons are close range based, so if you and your gang get weapons like the E11, you can very easily shred all of them, especially if they start fighting with the SCPs in the meantime. Anyways, now that we know multiple different types of escaping and ways to avoid deadly dangers, let's talk about some of the items that will be your best friend in any escape attempt. These are mostly SCP items, but there's a few normal ones that people underestimate. The most common SCP item you'll find is SCP-500. You can either find them in these lockers which are spread around the facility, or you can make mass amounts of them by upgrading medkits. So what does it do? Well, it fully heals you, clears any effect you have, whether it is a positive or a negative one, and it also gives you quite fast regeneration for a period of time. If you are ever running away from the SCPs, this thing may just save your life, since it's literally like a Minecraft totem. Being able to fully restore your HP instantly, whether you are getting brutally beat down by an SCP or are in a the middle of a gunfight is absolutely game changing. And having even one of these pills on you increases your chances of both survival and escaping by a big amount. So make sure to grab these whenever you see them, or even better, make them from upgrading a medkit only 2 times in 914. Now we have SCP-268, more commonly known as the Hat. This is a much rarer item as you'll only find one of these in the whole facility. By using it you become fully invisible for 15 seconds. Invisibility is one of the most simple and effective ways to avoid / ambush the hordes of a freshly spawned spawn or to escape any situation where you are surrounded. The invisibility benefit can be used in so many situations, so in case you are hunting for strong items, once you acquire a good cover, this one should definitely be on top of your list. Do keep in mind that 99 can still see you if you move, SCP-079 can see you all the time, and 096 can see you if you look at him, so it can save you from absolutely everything, but my point still stands. Now this one maybe doesn't have as many utilities as other SCP items, but it can give you some really valuable information. Well, that depends on how autistic the spectators are. It's literally a 50-50 chance that you'll be told actually good info, as for example when the next spawn wave will be, what SCPs are there and where are they, or so much other useful information. Or you can just get told by the whole spectator chat that you are the last target and that you should kill yourself now. Using this thing can give you great value once you find it, but carrying it around isn't worth it since it has a quite big cooldown and useful information isn't guaranteed, so yeah. Next is of course SCP-207. I'm not sure though I really got to explain this one. You drink it and you go brrr, you gain infinite stamina and increased speed for the cost of your HP. This item is extremely good when trying to escape as soon as possible, and if you don't do anything stupid, you should be able to safely reach the surface zone only within a few minutes of being under the effect of this item. That's why I would highly recommend using it unless you have absolutely zero heals on you and are new to the game. Then you are just gambling your own survival. The Red Ball and the Ghost Light are also both great items that can help you cut off enemies that are chasing you, but I won't go into detail since I glaze over these two every fucking video, so please give me a break, thank you. We also have the Adrenaline, which serves as the more budget version of SCP-207. It gives you temporary infinite stamina and temporary extra HP, unlike the 207 which takes it away. This can really help you out in tight situations or when you need to cover large distances fast. I myself prefer the Adrenaline over the 207 as losing HP slowly is such a pain in the ass, so if you can relate, I'd definitely advise you to start using this item. And the last item worth yapping about is the radio. You can find this one very easily at the start of the game, especially since nobody takes these. Now this depends on what kind of server you play on, but almost always when you put the radio on ultra range and start talking, one of the guards will talk back. This is extremely useful as both a scientist and a class D, since you can get warned about the SCPs that are in game and where they are before encountering them yourself. You can also ask for the location of said guards or MTF, which can help you either avoid them or meet them. After milking the information from alive players, you can turn this thing into a phonograph with a 25% chance on verifying in 914 in order to gain information from the dead players. This way you'll literally be playing 4D chess as long as you don't get caught off guard by the most random SCP ever and die. Now it's time for some neat tips that may just save your life and help you escape as any class. In SCP SL there's a system called spawn tokens. When members of a human team do certain actions, they gain these tokens for their team. These tokens decide which team spawns by increasing the odds of a team as they gain tokens. There's many actions that gain tokens for your team, but the ones we are only interested in are the ones you can do as a D-class/scientist in order to increase the chances of your team being the first spawn wave. Using SCP items which have multiple instances of them like SCP-207, 244 and 1853 grant 0.7 of a token per one use. However, SCP-500 grants only 0.4 tokens per use because of how common they are. Single-use SCP items like the Hat, Ball and Light Ball grant 1 token upon using them. This means if you just go around the facility taking and using these items, even if you don't need them, you'll basically guarantee your team to spawn first. You can also just mass produce mass amounts of these items in 914. Random actions like reaching heavy containment also give 0.2 tokens. But if the person is cuffed, they will give tokens to the opposing team. So if you as a scientist get your hands on a gun which also grants 0.4 tokens for just picking up a firearm, you can also gain a bunch of free tokens and meet shields by detaining class D and leading them into heavy. You may think these little numbers don't really matter, but trust me, they do. They stack up very fastly and guarantee your team to spawn first, which basically guarantees you a successful escape. For a full list of things that grant you tokens, I would advise checking out the SCP SL wiki. As a class D, when Chaos Insurgency spawns, you will hear a drum team playing. Don't reveal this to other classes as you'll destroy their element of surprise and reduce their chances of successfully saving you. If the SCPs are ever in an area in which they block your escape route, like for example entrance zone, and they have an SCP-079 teammate, you can use the generators to distract them and lead them away from the area as they'll have to disable them. Or you can also throw an SCP-018 which will make them shit their pants since this thing literally eats the SCP's HP for breakfast. SCP SL's facility layouts are generated based on an already set algorithm. So let's try to learn how it works in order to ease your navigation of these backrooms. Every zone has 2 entrance points, aka checkpoints. These 2 always generate next to each other but are separated by a few corridors. These corridors I believe are changed or randomized every round with some surely really advanced sorted code, but the thing we want to focus on are these special rooms. In heavy containments, these so-called special rooms are the elevators for light containment, and SCP containment chambers chambers like the 106, 196 and 079 chamber. These rooms will always only spawn on the edges of the map and are usually quite some corridors away from the entrance zone. That means that if you stick to the edges of the map, you are most likely to find the room you are looking for. For example, if you're a class D and you come into heavy containment from here, by following the edge of the map, you're guaranteed to reach the entrance zone checkpoints fairly soon. However, if you just go straight in these corridors, you are very likely to get lost. If you are looking for the rooms that spawn access cards as a guard, just do the same thing. Follow the edge of the map and you go through the checkpoint and you will either find light containment elevators or one of the chambers really soon. This way of searching also works in entrance zone and light containment as they are generated the same way. Light containment is just a bit more messy than others. Anyways, that will be it for this video, which took way too long to make and crashed my PC too many times. So if you enjoyed it and found some of the stuff I said in it useful, please consider subscribing, since it will help me cope with the pain that took in order to make this video. Also, a special thanks to Nemo with helping with the making of this video. If you wanna help / participate in future videos, engage with a schizo community or participate in giveaways, make sure to join the Discord whose link is down below. Have a great day and I'll see you next time.